That's right. We are a hot ass couple.
If you're hearing our voices, it means it's time for It's This Meets That podcast. We watch the worst movies from trailer to end credits, scene by scene, so you don't have to, but maybe you should. I'm Russ.
I'm Jared.
I think so. These aren't about us, though.
That's right. That's right. Totally devoid of meaning.
Oh my goodness! All right, so we're back with a full breakdown of the 2022 survival shark flick, The Requin.
The Requin. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What a wreck.
Am I right?
Not much
a win.
winning.
More like wreck loss.
You're in for a treat, listeners.
Only a Requin.
All
right, so yeah, we're back. What do you want to give us a quick recap of what this movie's about in case everyone completely forgot from last week?
Yep. Or if you didn't listen to Trailer Trash, you should do that. But just in case, here's the premise. A couple on a romantic getaway find themselves stranded at sea when a tropical storm sweeps away their villa. In order to survive, they're forced to fight the elements while sharks circle below. Enough said.
Yeah, that's it.
I have qualms with the sharks bit.
I do too. So, I mean, we can mold this into, I think, into our prognostications from Trailer Trash because we nailed it.
Yeah.
Almost too much.
I agree. And maybe sets up a prequel for Jaws.
And
I don't know.
It's still out there, right?
Yeah.
We were right in the sharks don't show up until like the last 15 minutes, 10 minutes of the movie, maybe 15 minutes.
It is a full half hour. They do have a full half hour. Yeah. I marked it in.
Did you mark it? Okay.
It's an hour in. A solid hour in is when the sharks show up.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Like they don't do anything until later.
That's not the point of the dolphins. That's not where the dolphins show up. Okay.
The actual shark. Yeah.
Actual sharks. Okay. All right.
I know, because I thought the same thing. And the dolphins were, I think, 45 minutes in.
What a great jump scare, dolphins. But everything else we kind of nailed. Husband dies at the end.
Yeah.
And
she didn't die, which I was hoping for. But.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say he dies at the end. He dies like there's still like a half hour left. Almost.
Oh, yeah.
It's basically as soon as the sharks show up, he's dead.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Almost, yeah.
And this movie's not good.
Yeah, not to spoil it all in the first 2 minutes of the podcast, but
true. You want some quick info on this?
Yeah. Give me some info.
Let's start there. So this is written and directed by what would you say, Levan Kiet? I think that's we went to. So he's only got he's got like 5 movies under his belt. He did like 4 movies from 2019 to 2022.
Yeah,
which is kind of crazy because also thinking of COVID and knocking out 4 movies during that time.
That's wild.
But so the 2 he's known, like the 2 he was known for. So he made this movie called Fury in 2019. Mm-hmm. And it's a Vietnamese martial arts flick, 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, right?
Wow.
So that kind of, I think that like put him on the map, right?
Yeah.
And then I think Le Requin here was his kind of first Hollywood flick.
Well, bad job.
Yeah. So money came calling and they were like, what do you want to do here? And shark movie kept getting thrown around. And he's like, sure, I'll do a shark movie. So he's also known for this movie called The Princess, which came out in 2022 with...
I was going to say, which came out first, that one or this one?
That one, I don't know. Okay. I think this came out first. Requin came out first. I mean, they were probably... It's kind of crazy. They probably filmed around the same time, but...
The Requin.
The Princess, 2022 with friend of the pod, Joey
Best
King. Best friend of the pod, Joey King.
I love it.
60% Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, that's not terrible. So...
Yeah. Should we watch that?
Maybe.
Not for the podcast.
No, yeah, just like a normal. Yeah. Since we've been doing this podcast and we watch movies that are under 30%, has your Rotten Tomatoes score dropped to 50%? Yeah, it's probably a really good movie.
I mean, I've always kind of been a 50% is good enough for me kind of guy.
I think I was a 60 plus.
I don't trust critics. I just have, listeners, we're going through times right now as everyone's always going through times, but distrust of our institutions is rampant
everywhere,
including Rotten Tomatoes. So
it's true.
And I'm no better than the rest of you. So critic reviews, I'm like, all right, well, if half of them said it's worth watching, good enough for me.
Yeah. Okay.
I've always been a 50% guy, especially because there's so many 50% movies that I like. Like there are a lot of crappy action movies that I'm like, oh, all right. Like,
they're like more like guilty pleasure, right? Like, yeah, this is still fun. I'll still put it on.
But I don't feel guilt.
Just pleasure.
Just pleasure. Yeah, all pleasure, baby.
Okay, I think we're getting too deep here.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, so who's in this? There's only 5 people in this movie, or 6. So I'm gonna name all of them.
It's like 20 extras, basically.
Yeah, but that's
the whole cast. Yeah.
So here's the whole entire cast. So we get Alicia Silverstone, who plays Jalen. She's our hero, our final girl.
I think I decided I hate Alicia Silverstone.
In this movie, I'm going to say her character is obnoxious.
Like I haven't seen Clueless in 20 years, so
I typically don't. I have no issues with Alicia Silverstone, but this movie, her character is terrible. I think I read somewhere one of the reviewers said she should get nominated for a Razzie and an Oscar for this.
What?
Yeah, just for being in it and kind of holding it together. But I was like,
oh my God,
this is not. No. So
you're
she plays,
a liar.
Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. So she's playing Jalen. James Tupper plays Kyle,
who also sucks.
Yeah, he's.
I'm out on James Tupper now too.
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Danny Chung, who's the fisherman.
Oh, that guy was funny.
Yeah, he was pretty funny.
He's good in this.
Yeah, he was good in this. Deirdre O'Connell, who plays Anne, the mom, Jalen's mom. Jennifer Mudge plays Lizzie, Jalen's sister. And they're only in this for, actually they're in it for quite a while, but considering screen time. And then
yeah, I guess you're right.
Right? I mean,
a good probably 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, like which when you consider like whatever everything else is going on, you're like, that's actually a long time. And then Kam Mai, who plays the tour guide.
Perfect.
And I'd even pull that one just be like random funny. That's the entire cast.
He's one of the only other people in the movie. Yeah.
And then, okay, so numbers. You want some numbers here?
Yeah.
I have no numbers to give you except for one, because this went straight to video on demand.
I thought so. I saw somewhere that this was released in at least a couple theaters.
Oh, I couldn't pull up any numbers. I don't know. Maybe you got them somewhere, but I checked my usual.
I didn't get any numbers. So yeah.
I checked my usual spots and I couldn't pull anything up. But
I did see it had a limited release, but it seems like it was so limited that probably no one went to see it anyway.
Probably it was like a friend's like theater, you know.
Yeah.
the director's theater in his basement.
Man, come down to the basement. Yeah.
A limited release. Okay.
I got Lazy Boys, baby.
Yeah, if you invite more than 10 people, you can call it a limited release.
Yeah.
Budget though, $8.5 million.
I don't know. I think I feel good about that.
You feel okay? Yeah. I mean, considering other movies we've done, that I guess seems reasonable.
Yeah. Like it's got to be mostly Alicia Silverstone, right? Like
probably her and the special effects. Not that I'm saying this, but
listeners, you can't see it, but I'm making a face.
he just gave me the eyes. But think about it. Like, I think like they weren't good, but I still think
they were expensive.
But they were still expensive. So yeah, $8.5 million budget.
Yeah, I guess you do need to pay someone who knows how to use a computer. So.
That's right. That's right. Someone needs to know how to clickety clack.
Oh my god.
Rotten Tomatoes, it sits at 19%. On the critics and 6% audience.
A generous 19%.
Very generous 19%. So, okay. Would you like some very, 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 very fast facts? This is going to be our shortest fast facts ever.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Why not? Should I bother even saying that it's like the $8.5 million budget is like 2,200 Fanatics worth of ticket sales?
I mean, just out of, this is what we do. So,
out of consistency.
Keep it consistent. So
fair enough.
So fast facts, you ready?
Back me, daddy.
Okay. We kind of already covered this in the trailer trash, but the title pronounced Requin is an archaic name for the great white shark or the requiem shark, derived from French requin. So there you go.
I love how it's for the great white shark or requiem shark, which are two different sharks.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay.
I think it just means shark.
And oh god, I can't wait till we start talking about the sharks. So bad.
Oh my god,
so bad.
It's so weird. It's like okay, we'll get there. So the film was shot at the Universal Studios and Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida, and has nearly 1,000 VFX shots.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually almost went to Full Sail University, but I didn't, and here I am today.
Well, look, it all worked out.
It all worked out, I think.
Yeah, I probably never would have met you.
Nope. You would not have. Yeah, 1,000 VFX. So then I was watching
a bunch. Stayed working at AOL.
Yep, probably. I would watch a couple interviews with the director Kiet there, and they were very painful interviews because obviously he's getting interviewed by people who are not very good interviewers.
Yep.
But one guy asked him, he's like, "Oh, so how much was shot in Vietnam?" And he was just like, he didn't quite answer it, but I think he said, I think it was nothing, or I was like, very little was shot. The way he answered it was just very open ended. But he was like, "Well, there was COVID restrictions, so we couldn't do a lot." I was like, "So did you shoot there or not?" I'm going with no, because they shot during COVID, so no one was going anywhere. So it's like, you're not going to Vietnam to go shoot like 2 scenes of a movie. Like,
yeah, I guess that's fair. I was gonna say, like, there were like definitely a couple of, I think, real beaches, but Florida's got plenty of those. So
yeah, and it's like also like the villa that they're staying in, like maybe it's just stock footage, like drone shot that like they took from like the.
That's what I was thinking,
from like the hotel's like PR video.
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking too.
Just cut that, and then we'll make a hut in the Universal Studios parking lot.
Yeah, like some of the shark shots were like borrowed from Discovery Channel kind of thing. Like.
yeah. Like deleted footage they just grabbed and like stuck someone in there. We'll get to it because it looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of this was all, so they just, it was obviously all shot in like a pool.
Yep.
And that's how, they did
I did read an interview with Alicia Silverstone about the filming of it, and she was complaining about the pool. So it was cold.
That's what pools are supposed to be.
I know.
And like, this is a short one, but here we go. Alicia Silverstone tried coconut water for the first time during filming.
Tried Coke for the first time?
Coconut water. Sorry, I got stumbled up reading it and started laughing, thinking about the fast fact. So,
wow. I mean, that's what
a speechless. I'm speechless.
Yep.
Internet, you have won again.
Not a big fan of coconut water.
Me neither. I hated it. I don't
hate it, but I don't
like it. I don't like it at all. Someone gave it to me one time.
What do you think?
Drink coconut water. You'll feel better. I'm like, no, this is gross. It's gonna make me sick. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like extra hydrating or something.
Yeah, it's supposed to be good for like when you're hungover, but
right, electrolytes or something.
It did not do that.
Yeah, listeners, tell us: is there good coconut water?
I won't try it.
I'll try anything 4 times.
They make a decision not to.
Yeah, what if it turns out good?
It's always the 4th time.
4th time's a charm.
All right, that's it. So, do you want to Hollywood pitch me? Le Requin.
Oh my god!
See what I did there?
Yeah. No.
You like that?
No.
I mashed the title in with the segment title.
Yeah, asinine.
It'll be my new thing. I'm going forward.
No, it's the new thing.
Yep, new things.
Okay.
We need new things around here.
Yeah, fair enough. I haven't started to brainstorm some new segments.
Oh
maybe,
boy.
so.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, this movie, I was worried that you were going to take it. It's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah.
P.S. I Love You meets The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
So I'm not gonna lie to you. P.S. I Love You did cross my mind.
Right? It's the same movie.
Yeah, it really is. It crossed my mind, but I was like, I'm gonna go over here. So
yeah, you're right. I got a little lazy this time.
I mean, I looked at mine. I got really excited about it. I'm like, mine are kind of lazy too, but yeah, whatever.
So P.S. I Love You. So a couple of big obvious things here.
Go listen to those episodes. 1.
Dead husband. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. First of all, go listen to those episodes. Good plug.
Right.
I feel like some of our best work.
I think so too. Yeah. Absolutely.
Best friend of the pod, Jerry Butts.
Come on, you can't go wrong, right?
You can't, right?
Butts.
Young Jerry Butts.
Yeah, very young. He had frosted tips and looked like he should sing from like some Canadian rock band that we won't name. Yeah,
incredible. Yeah. So anyway, Dead Husband. Speaking of Jerry Butts, big theme. You can tell almost immediately in this movie that he's going to die.
Yes,
which is great. Because I hate him.
Yeah. No, he's gone.
But they definitely like make it a big thing. And like the wife in both situations here, way too dependent on the husband.
Yes.
Like in P.S. I Love You, she's, it like sends her into this big spiral thing. It's a whole, like, that's the whole plot of that movie.
Yep.
It's basically what I think is probably going to be part 2 of this movie is that plot, because if she's reacting to this over a stillbirth that she had, which is like, sure, super traumatic,
absolutely
horrible. But like her dead husband, I feel like, is going to end up even worse for her.
Yeah, that's going to push you over the cliff, right?
Right, exactly.
Cliff of madness.
But also the husband, kind of an asshole in both.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. This one was weird. He comes across as being super supportive. And then towards the end, you're like, no, you're kind of a dick.
Right. And like the mom and the sister kind of allude to that in their phone call at the beginning too. They're like, oh, that's Kyle did that? Really? How surprising.
The friend's text messages she got.
Yeah, exactly. So like listeners, maybe one of our more controversial episodes, P.S. I Love You, Russ and I are staunchly that Jerry Butt's character is a huge asshole. And like,
yes,
people are like, oh no, it's so romantic. Blah, blah, blah. No, not at all. And
let someone get over it, you know?
Right. And same in this movie, like this guy's a huge asshole.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Yeah. You can see it in his face mostly.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of asshole husbands, both movies have like a skeptical but caring mother.
Yep.
The mom in this one for 5 minutes is like, really, Kyle?
Yeah. Nope. That's yep.
And the mom's a big character in P.S. I Love You, obviously. Yeah. Kind of similar fishing scenes. So like our fisherman at the end here, basically stranded without a paddle out in the middle of God knows where. She just like in P.S. I Love You, where they end up in the middle of a,
which comes back to safety tip 86, always wear a life jacket, which came from episode 192, which was P.S. I Love You. So
exactly.
Which if they had been wearing life jackets, this
whole thing
done
would be totally
problem solved. So
problem solved. Yep. And I kind of hope this is like a little bit hopeful at the end of like. Yeah. There was a lot of talk about Jalen taking her mom to Vietnam, just like Hillary Swank or whoever takes her mom to Ireland at the end of P.S. I Love You, right?
Okay, yeah, all right.
Kind of a repeat
mother-daughter thing here. Yeah, okay. I'm by that.
So meets Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, which I remember seeing that in the theater and walking out being like, huh. You've seen it, right?
Yeah, like a long time ago. I just know I was
I'm like a big medium on Wes Anderson in general. And I think I appreciate the idea of this movie now more, like everyone else about this movie. Like at the time, it was a huge flop. Remember, like when it came out, everyone was like, "Wow, what a stinker!"
Yep.
But now people are like, "Oh, it's kind of like a cult following or whatever." Yeah. The movie still kind of stinks, just like this movie. So a couple of other points here.
Okay.
One, best friends get eaten by a shark because at the end here, she's like, my best friend.
Screaming as always.
Yeah. As always, when her husband's legs get eaten by the shark.
Yep.
In Life Aquatic.
Yeah.
The whole premise of the movie is kicked off by the friend getting eaten by a shark.
Yeah.
Yep. Both movies have weird soundtracks.
Yeah.
But the Life Aquatic is good.
Yeah.
I like Sue George, the Brazilian guy, who did like the whole soundtrack playing David Bowie songs in Portuguese. Remember?
Cool. That's right.
Yeah. Love that guy. That was great, but weird.
Yeah. This movie was weird and just
bad.
Yeah. What? This doesn't fit at all. What are we doing?
Weird ethereal singing and like kind of like poppy. I don't.
It's horrible. Yeah, at the wrong time, you're just like, what is happening right now?
Did not fit.
No.
Some questionable father-child stuff. So like, there's Owen Wilson is kind of Steve Zissou's kid in that movie, and like there's a controversy about it in that movie.
Yep.
In this one, the controversy is that the kid is dead, but
never made it.
Right, exactly. But there's like, father-child relationship is a big theme in both.
Yep.
There's related some weird scenes with pregnant women in both movies.
Yep. Okay.
And just like in this one, it's like they're like definitely played to be arty, but not in a good way. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, this is supposed to be profound, and it's not.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Like, because all the flashback scenes to when she's like is kind of trying to really dive into the grief and like be arty, but then like
Right.
But the rest of the movie is a comedy.
Right. And I'm like, I don't care enough about this character.
It didn't mean to be a comedy, but it was.
Right. Exactly. And then my last one, bit of a stretch here. After I did a little digging, I was like, there's Filipino pirates in Steve Zissou.
Mm-hmm.
This movie takes place off the coast of Vietnam, both in South Asia.
Okay.
But like far enough. I was like, how far away is the Philippines from Vietnam? And I looked, and it's like Boston to Jacksonville, Florida. It's like 1,000 miles.
Yeah. I was like,
it's far enough,
but close enough.
Close enough, right?
Close enough.
It's in the Pacific Ocean.
That's all that matters.
Both movies take place in the Pacific Ocean.
You should have just gone right there.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
At least partially. Steve Zissou, I know they go other places, but
I like that. I think that's good, right?
Thank you. Yeah. What do you got?
So after I looked at it, I was like, mine are pretty obvious. So I'm going, it's Good Morning Vietnam meets Waterworld.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So Good Morning Vietnam. That's a Robin Williams flick from 1987, right?
Yep.
Pretty obvious ones. Let's get the low hanging fruit out of the way, right? So both take place in Vietnam, obviously, right?
Sure. Less communist then.
Yep.
Half less communist then.
Yeah. Good Morning Vietnam is a war comedy. This movie really is a comedy and a war against Vietnamese sharks, coral reefs, and fishermen.
And the viewer.
So going there.
Pretty good.
Pretty good, right? Like the Vietnam War, this movie has white people stick around for way too long because they're stuck there against their will, which right?
Yeah. I mean, sure.
They were kind of stuck there against their will once they got HUD'd, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So Robin Williams' character in Good Morning Vietnam, he yells a lot, because he was opening to his radio show,
kind of
right?
His thing, right?
Yeah. This movie, Jalen, she yells all of the time, constantly screaming and yelling. It's like, all right,
oh my god,
I don't know. Part of me is like, I don't know how the husband did it, but he's also an asshole. So I don't know. Like,
right? I was like, they're made for each other. I hate them both.
I actually dislike both of them so much.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of so in Good Morning Vietnam, obviously Robin Williams' character, he's kind of like the free-spirited radio DJ host, right? Pushing against his superiors and kind of like questioning them, stuff like this.
Yeah,
this movie, Jalen, I wouldn't call her husband a superior, but he's always kind of like, don't worry about it, babe. I'll start this fire with my broken leg. And he's always kind of like pushing her down, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I'll climb on top of the rock. And he's like, don't climb on a rock. It's dangerous. You're not going to do it. Blah. She's like, we need to create smoke. He's like, we don't need to create smoke.
Yeah, he's a big jerk.
He is kind of a big jerk, right?
Uh-huh.
And in this movie, Jalen wakes up a lot. There's a lot of scenes.
It's transition scenes and then waking up.
Alicia Silverstone just waking up.
Mm-hmm.
Good Morning Vietnam.
Good acting.
We're Good Morning Vietnam, right?
Perfect sense.
That's
I like it.
I think that's where I'm going with that one.
Morning in Vietnam. You're right. It's exactly the same.
All right, same thing. So Waterworld. All right, this is going to be pretty obvious, all of these, but
sure.
Obviously both take place in the open ocean. You're kind of trapped out there, right?
Yeah.
Both are about survival and hope.
Okay.
Like she's trying to survive. She's like, it's a survival. I mean, this movie's more about like grief and dealing with that, but it's also about survival and hope that she can.
And hope.
Yeah,
sure.
right. So
a better tomorrow.
Both have a child that is taken from a mother. Waterworld, the kid is stolen by Dennis Hopper's kid, and they have to go get her, right? Not quite the same as losing a child in the bathtub, but
not at all, yeah.
But it does drive the story. So
yeah, I haven't seen Waterworld in ages.
Yeah, it's so terrible. Both have sharks.
Yep.
Both the characters are seeking land and find it.
That's right.
Both have a male figure that leaves, or in this case, this movie dies towards the end of the movie.
Right. Leaves against his will. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure both have someone losing their legs. I think. I don't know about Waterworld, but I'm pretty sure someone loses their legs in there. I don't know.
Did they?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
It feels like it should. And
I was gonna say both presumably filmed in a pool.
That's a good pull. Yep. Yeah, and both really not that good. So,
yeah, fair. Waterworld is a much better movie than this one, though.
Oh yeah, which is saying, I mean, it's in terms of
miles
scale,
ahead.
Yeah, it's miles ahead. But you put Waterworld against all the other movies that it should be good, it's not. So,
like Vietnam to Philippines ahead of.
Yeah, but both take place, but both in the Pacific Ocean.
Right. Exactly. Nice. Well, nice work.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Color me impressed. Doesn't take much.
Here? No. It's no.
When you're here, you're here.
Well, I think that's it. Are we getting into this? Are we diving into it?
Yeah. We can ignore most of my commercials. I wrote down every commercial that I got to because I watched this on Hulu with ads. Russ watched it on Hulu without ads. So
looks like you started with an ad, so we're gonna skip that.
Yep.
So we had our boys Saban.
You did so good in the trailer trash.
Saban.
Yep.
Saban
you were
Films.
right the first time.
Okay. Saban Films with like their sick logo. Pretty cool,
awesome.
right?
We love Saban.
Big fans.
Yeah, Power Rangers.
Come on.
See you later.
Keep doing what you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we get all the other production companies from the trailer. E28 Media Capital, which I looked up. They seem pretty legit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Film Bridge International also seems legit. Although Film Bridge International, they refer to them as the FBI.
Oh my God.
I was reading their website and like, here at the FBI, I'm like, really?
Oh,
really?
Female body inspectors.
Yeah. And then you look at the photos of all the people who work there and you're like, oh, you guys are all just like failed Hollywood people and you're doing this other thing.
Yep.
Like all their headshots are like glamorous. It's like, all right.
It's like if we could have had a second career in Hollywood after our first failed careers.
Yes. Yeah. It's like, guess we're just going to move money around.
Yeah. Alrighty.
There's worse things to do. And then it rolls into like the credits, right?
Oh my God.
Holy smokes.
I started writing them because I was like, oh, there's got to be a couple of credits. I was like, I knew, well, first of all, there's a couple more studios that I didn't look up, but Choice Films and
Paperback, whatever. Yeah. Writer or something like that. Yeah.
And then we get the director's name, right? And the title card. And then Alicia Silverstone. And then for forever credits. Like I was like, oh, okay.
There's only 5 people in the movie.
I know. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
So it's like on this like weird smoky background, right?
Yeah, it's like mist. It's a mist over the ocean, presumably, right?
Yeah, right. That's what you're right. So there's a mist over the ocean, right? And it's so long. I'm like, there's only 5 people in the movie. What are we doing? Like
actual like 3 or 4 minutes
of screen time.
Beginning credits.
And
with
nothing.
Like, give me a Marvel credits or something where I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll watch 5 minutes of credits at the beginning, but you're going to make it entertaining for me. Disney, what a great company.
Just fix your Hulu sign up.
Yeah.
But I was bored. I was like, I'm already bored.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? So you get the people's names, get credits, whatever. Also, the music here, the music choice, I was like, this sounds like a 1940s noir, like LA Confidential, like soundtrack. You know, I'm like, okay, what are we doing?
Or like
here?
could have been Jaws, even like not John Williams, good,
right? But
like
something
like similar, like this is gonna. They're like setting it up to be a horror movie.
Could you imagine that music playing with this opening scene we're gonna get it to? Dun, 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 dun. So then it leads into, so then like the credits stop and like we're in, like you said, and you get a sense you're in water and it's still like this mist thing, and I'm like, I couldn't quite see. I was like, what is that thing we're closing in on? I couldn't tell could you tell what it was?
A belly button. Yeah. I could.
I was like, what is that? I was so
after like a minute. It took me a minute.
Yeah. It took me a minute too. And I was like, finally, I was like, that's a belly? That's a pregnant. Okay. And I was like, oh, it's preggers in the bathtub.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a scream, and then Alicia Silverstone, wake up number 1.
Yep. Oh yeah, we should do a wake up counter. Good call.
Wake up counter, yeah. So wake up number 1, and it was a nightmare. So
yep.
And here we are in the vacation hut from hell.
Yep. So she sits up in the fancy resort and she's like on her phone, which, I would be too, probably.
If I had an asshole husband and,
exactly. Tell me about
it. Like, what?
Speaking of, then Kyle wakes up. He couldn't sleep. And we get a ton of exposition about this is their first night at the resort. God. She's been grinding her teeth at night, except for he says, you've been gnawing your teeth, which that's not an expression.
That's not the phrase.
It sure isn't. And then also one of my favorite quotes that happens many times. I had an episode.
Oh my goodness.
Like, I want to have episodes.
And then there's this whole back and forth about her being on social media, right? Yeah. And like her trying to connect to the Wi-Fi, and she couldn't do that. So okay, clear, we don't have Wi-Fi, so she can't use the phone for help. All right,
she's a big social media guy,
big time. But they keep like going over and over, and I'm like, what? Yes. Why? What is this? Is this commentary about being on social media and being on vacation? Like,
yes, definitely is part of it too.
And why?
Yes,
like why do we need this?
Yep. And I also, there are a couple of good lines in there though. Like I almost used this one. I'm like, I consider myself social, just not in a media way, is something that Kyle says. What does that mean?
And then she's like going through like a group text message with all of her friends, whatever. And then we get the hint. We get a hint here that he's kind of a jerk because their friends are like, oh, did the husband even grieve? When they lost a child, obviously, because that's what we're hinting at here with the opening. He's not on social media in a way, like you just said. And then we get some more about him too. About he's in construction.
None of this is important or comes back later. Like
he's a carpenter, and
he's a carpenter. His dad is religious. I don't know why we spend 5 minutes on this.
Yeah, I thought they were talking about he was a religious one, but it was the father was a religious one. Okay,
right. Yeah.
And I was like, this social media thing better not come back later. Maybe it's just I don't know.
I was like, I hope all of this comes back later because why are we wasting time on it otherwise?
Right. That's actually a good point. Right.
Chekhov's religious dad over here. Like, I don't give a shit.
Chekhov's carpenter. No, doesn't come back.
Doesn't matter. He doesn't use any of his skills later.
No, actually not at all. He's kind of useless.
Yeah. He's like an anti-carpenter. I don't know.
He's like literally breaking the house down.
Right.
And then we get the shot from the trailer where they're like sitting at the edge there and like, this is why we're here. Relax, breathe.
Let's do nothing.
Yeah. Okay. And then we get one of our many transition shots of the ocean, right? But this is like the shot from the trailer of like the villa, starts oceaning. We kind of pan over the vacation place.
At the same time, this is when we get like weird rom-com island music.
Yeah, it was kind of poppy, cheesy, like rom-com music.
We've spoiled it already like 4 times, listeners, but like nothing happens for almost the first hour of this movie,
which we called out in prognostication.
I know, devastating. It's like a rom-com at the beginning.
Yeah,
it gives Kissing Booth a run for its money percentage-wise in terms of montages. Yep,
I would agree. I was just gonna say because this is our first one, right? And it's like kind of the mini montage of them out and about doing touristy shit in Vietnam. We got some old people playing badminton. Is that what they're playing or something?
It could be. I don't know.
Walking around town.
Also joking that the music, we were like, I wonder if this is like Alicia Silverstone's like side band or something like that. And she like made them put the music in here.
The Silvertones, obviously.
Yeah. Right. That's why it stinks.
It's just them doing touristy stuff and they go on a boat ride. She goes parasailing, right? And we cut to them, the scene from the trailer.
I almost did Jurassic Park 3 again. Because it also starts with parasailing.
Oh my God. That's funny. So we get this shot from the trailer, like them in the car and like driving down a nice, tree lined road, whatever, right? And we get a quick Toyota ad as it pulls into this historical site that they're hanging out at, right?
Which like, I was like, is this a temple or something? Like,
that's what I thought.
Apparently not.
Nope. It's a prison. Cool.
Yeah. Which like, this is like breaks up the montage. Finally, there's like a little scene here at the prison where there's like, I don't know. Again, like Chekhov's executed 14-year-old girl.
Yeah. Like
doesn't come back. No one cares.
No one cares. Like,
they talk about it for 5 minutes again.
Is it like, because she pauses and looks at it and she's like, oh, wondering about her daughter, if she had grown up and like,
that's what they're trying to do, but it doesn't work. I don't think. Like I got that at the end of when she's like, "Oh, she looks pained by this." But like Kyle doesn't give a shit. Kyle's like, "Oh, cool." Like,
yeah, let's move along.
Great story. Thanks for the pamphlet.
Are there snacks at this place?
Yeah, basically. I was like, I can't stand this.
So then it ends with Alicia having kind of a moment staring at the statue of this girl who got executed in 1952. So then we're at the Beachside Cafe, little bar here, and this is where we get the extended version of the shots from the trailer of the FaceTime with mom and sis, right?
Yeah, the scene's so long.
It's so long. So she starts FaceTime with mom, right? And then we get a quick flash over the news showing the weather. Quick shot of Kyle playing soccer with the guys that work at the bar. Yeah, the way. And then it's just the scene from the trailer, her talking with mom and sis.
Yeah, and we get some important details like it's the off season.
Yeah,
they got a discount because they came when it's not tourist season. I wonder if the weather is a factor.
Right, 'cause you don't go to places when there's hurricane season, right?
When it's monsoon season, right?
Yeah. Right. By the way, I want to call this out in Trailer Trash. I thought the sister said Ian and mom.
Yeah,
she said, "How is Vietnam?"
That makes way more sense.
Yeah. We get more complaining about there's no Wi-Fi.
Yeah, which like there's so much complaining about no Wi-Fi at the beginning that's very frustrating.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then we get the stuff from the trailer again, right? Is it safe to be in a room above the water?
Yeah, we get that, and then it kind of transitioned into a weird thing about money that also never comes back.
Yeah,
because she's like, "Well, it costs enough money to be here. I still have to watch my wallet. I don't have a job back home."
yeah, and
What?
she's not dealing with the trauma very well yet, and like,
Which I was like, "Wait, did you get fired for having a miscarriage, or
like, what do you do? What are you? What do you do?
I'm so confused."
Yeah, and so then we also learned the husband planned this whole getaway, right? And that she's like, "We're doing okay, right?"
Yeah, which they're all like make a big deal about how surprised they are that Kyle planned this trip. They're like, "Wow, Kyle, really?" They're like, the sister's like, "Wait, you don't even have HBO?" And she's like, "No, there's no Wi-Fi."
It's Vietnam. There's no internet at all.
Frustrating
at all.
I'm so mad. Then there's a weird throwaway bit about the dad, which I love too.
Oh, yeah.
The mom's like, "Oh, I got to go take care of dad. He's on his 5th day of no carbs except beer." You're like,
that's not. Then there are carbs then.
Why is this in the movie? I want more about the dad now.
He sounds way more interesting.
Yeah.
And then we get a kind of like quick flash over to the weather, right? And this is when we see the impending storm coming in, which I'd be like, yeah, let's pack up. Let's move somewhere more inland here.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good at all. It's like a giant red swirling thing coming right over them. Like, yeah, just put one and one together here.
Like a really obvious weather report that she looks very concerned about.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then we get the shot from the trailer of Kyle and Jalen. They're just walking back to the hut, right?
Yeah. Also, this is she cries before that.
Yes.
Is, if we're going to do a cry counter too, maybe.
Cry counter. Yeah. A lot of crying, a lot of waking up.
A lot of counters. Yeah. A lot of the same thing happens over and over again.
Screaming, crying, and waking up. Screaming, crying, and waking up.
It's literally the whole movie.
We're skipping your commercials here?
I get a commercial break. Oh, wait. No, this is my first commercial for Slaughterhouse. Which
I think we should just watch for fun. Let's have some beers and watch a movie.
Yeah. So listeners, it comes out, I think August 30th. It probably already came out then by the time we publish this episode.
Yeah, probably.
But you missed your chance, but you'll find it on streaming, I'm sure. Yeah. Slaughterhouse, which looks like a sorority rogue meets murder sloth. I don't know.
Murder sloth. Yeah.
My favorite thing about the commercial though, is that there's a QR code on the screen the whole time, a really big one in the corner.
Oh my God.
Which I didn't scan until like the 4th time I saw the trailer during the movie.
Yeah.
And then I finally scanned it. QR code deactivated.
Oh, what do you do?
It's like good marketing. Yeah.
Well done. Well played. What have you done?
Incredible. So anyway, back to the movie.
Yeah. So here we are back at the shacks, the huts, right? We get Jalen just walking to the balcony, whatever, and she's smiling. And Kyle's watching, right? And then more of her being like, yeah, there's no signal, right? And like the sim you got in town isn't working, right? It's like, all right, Jesus, give it up already, right? And then Kyle, he goes right into the water. He jumps in the water and
does a big cannonball.
Yeah, and they have like this irritating conversation. She's like pushing to get a signal, and he's like, "Hey, just put that down. Let's come on out, blah blah blah, get in the water, whatever." And they do some couple stuff, splashing each other, and she gets in the water, right?
Yeah, and he makes a big thing about it again. Like he's just like kind of an asshole. We paid a freaking fortune for this villa. Like you gotta enjoy it.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Get me a snorkel." Like it's like, whoa, hey,
woman,
bud.
Woman, go get me a snorkel.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Let's get me one up too. Yeah. Be easy.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. And then we get a snorkel montage for a bit.
Yeah, this would be it's a Pandora. We're on Pandora. Underwater, just there's pretty fish, there's coral, there's rays, there's turtles.
I didn't see the new one.
It's just all underwater. It's this, but with blue people.
Yeah, not interested.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And then we're out in the water, right?
Yeah, they're like out in the rocks for some reason.
Like a rock.
Yeah, a rock.
Yeah.
And Kyle immediately cuts his foot open because like don't climb on sharp rocks.
Which that will come back later, by the way.
Right, exactly. And then in 5 seconds, for some reason, she's having another episode, which I'm going to mark up my episode counter here.
Yeah, well, the blood from his foot in the water triggers her.
Triggers the episode.
Right? Yeah, she gets an episode flashback of her in a bathtub pregnant, and him saying like, it wasn't her fault, it's not her fault, right? And we come back to reality, and we get a bunch of exposition about what happened to the baby, and they're back and forth, right? And she blames herself. She's like, I wasn't being safe, and like, for the child's death. And it's like, well, the child already didn't have a heartbeat and they're doing this still water thing,
Yeah.
And she's like, I strangled her. And the husband's like he's doing his best to be supportive, although underneath he's,
Yeah. And he Kyle also the first couple times he refers to the baby refers to it as him. And then
it's she, I think,
it's
right?
definitely a girl baby.
Yeah.
Okay. Which they then correct the rest of the scene. But I was like,
Oops.
Huh. Consistency.
Yeah, we need to.
Someone give James Tupper his line. Also, can we talk about this for a second? Because probably related to the stillbirth here, Alicia Silverstone is 46.
Yeah.
And James Tupper, dude,
52, 55.
58.
What?
He looks amazing. I know.
What?
Incredible for 58.
58?
I know.
Holy smokes. Him and Keanu and all them just eating. I don't know.
Something's in the water out there in LA.
Jesus. It's amazing.
Amazing, right? But either way, they shouldn't be having kids at this point.
No. And this is where you can tell you're in a pool because all these shots when they're in the water has this weird soft glow to all of them, and it's like, oh, they definitely just did green screen. They're in the pool, and then everything else behind them is all CG'd.
Yeah,
it's you can feel it.
I did say it here that Kyle is James Tupper reminds me of a poor man's Michael Rappaport, but I'm revising it. I think he's a rich man's Michael Rappaport.
58, yeah. I mean,
right?
Jeez.
Michael Rappaport's 53.
Jeez, he does not look nearly as good as Tupper.
No,
that Tupperware
stays fresh. Yeah.
All right, so we're hot nighttime, right? And a storm's a coming.
Yep.
Yeah, and then she's in the bed, right? And she's like, I can't stay here. This trip isn't going to work out, right? And he's like, again, trying to make up maybe his supportiveness, right? And he's like, hey, okay, we can leave tomorrow. And he's like, maybe we'll get our money back. I knew it. Remember from the trailer trash, we're like, this guy just wants his refunds.
Speaking of it's good timing for them to go home anyway, because the storm is rolling in. It's much more visible now that this is going to be a big problem. And Thais had a good Vietnam, more like, nah, I'm all set. And I laughed. So just wanted to call that out.
What time did you guys watch this?
9:00. Early enough.
Oh my God.
Early
so
enough.
He's like, oh, do you want to go to the whatever. They have that conversation. He's like, oh, so you want to go to the bar? And she's like, starts crying. So cry counter.
Are we gonna be okay?
Yeah. He's like, I love you. And they hold each other. She cries. And then the camera pans out the ocean and the storm is definitely a coming. So now it's raining, right? We have a transition shot from outside and it starts raining. We come back. They're in bed sleeping, right?
Yep.
And then a creaking noise, and we get Jillian waking up again.
Our second wake up
call. Yeah, second wake up call, right? And she's like, what's that? And he's like, whatever, babe. It's just a storm. It'll pass. It's tropical. It'll pass, right?
Yeah, it's monsoon season, babe. Of course it's raining.
Of course it's cheap, babe. And then we get the late night phone call from the front desk, and they're like, hey, if you want to relocate.
Yeah, well, and then they're like, no, we were just calling to reassure you that everything's fine, but also if you want to come back to the shore.
And he's like, how do you feel? And she's like, should we move? Yeah. And he's like, whatever, we're staying. It's
he audibly scoffs at her.
Yeah. It's so they don't move. If you have a feeling that something isn't right, just say it. Just say it. Be like, yeah, let's move. Problem solved. Yeah. Problem solved. It's okay. Let the other person deal with it.
He's like, babe. Ugh.
Yeah. Your comfort should be his number one priority. Storm time. Right?
Yep. I get another ad.
Boring.
Which I go in for Brookline Bank. Shout out to Brookline Bank. Just wanted to call out their slogan here because it made no sense to me. Banking at the speed of you. What does that mean?
Whatever speed you move at, they'll bank at.
Is banking measured in speed? What are the units here? I don't understand.
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. Someone came up with that and like, that sounds cool. Let's do it.
Yeah. Banking at the speed of you. That's a future commercial.
That sounds like Star Wars. Let's do it.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
Anyway.
Okay.
Yep.
So then we get the storm. Storms here. Storms are raging, right? And it's getting wild out there. We get some quick shots of the water. Definitely some bad CG going on. We got trees. We got
Yeah.
A lot of it looked like a mix of stock footage storms and then like mixed in with some bad CG stuff.
And then like true dum-dums, they didn't bring the furniture inside, which like storm much.
Come on. Like you always bring your furniture in. Like
so they like left all this patio furniture over the ocean, like out there.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And obviously a chair immediately gets thrown into the window, which smashes. And Kyle still does not really wake up until she screams about it.
Yeah. First scream. And then like the water crashes in the hut and tosses them around, right? And like this is when all chaos happens here, right? And like she gets tossed, the bed goes sliding across and pins him and like breaks his leg, right? It's chaos. He's like, get to the phone, babe. she's like, there's no dial tone, babe. And like Kyle's like, I think I broke my leg.
We're making jokes about it. The script, they don't say babe that much. But the script is bad.
It's bad. It's really bad. So he's all messed up, right? And then we get some not very good CG shots of the hut getting like just suplexed into the water, right? Crashed into the water.
Yeah. Which for some reason like tosses her up into the air and then smashes her on the floor. And I was like,
like this what? All of a sudden like Zack Snyder's slow-mo shot of her going up and then like just slamming into the ground. I'm like, why? What are we doing here? She's all out of sorts.
I don't know, but like knocks her out for a minute.
Yeah. She's all out of sorts, right? And we get like the muffled ear sound, right? It's like, and he's calling for her. He's like, hey, babe, what's going on?
Which like this scene takes way too long too. Like she's sitting there like face down in a puddle of water, which you can drown in an inch of water.
You definitely can. It doesn't take much. So, and then she's like, "Oh my God!" He's like, "What is it?" She's like, "Kyle, we're moving away from the land." Like, it's a raft now. You're fine. Your hut has become a raft.
And then she like puts her hand in broken glass and Kyle like tries to stand up and like his leg creaks and cracks. Like listeners, they do, I don't know why they do this, but anytime Kyle moves the rest of the movie, it's like crunch.
The celery, the only good use for celery, by the way, making the
movie effects.
Movie effects. That's it.
And soup.
Oh yeah,
like a nice,
mirepoix. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If we're going French here, Requin mirepoix.
It's been a while since we've had a cooking episode.
Sure, it has been a long time. But a house on water is just a houseboat, and a hut on water is just a raft with walls. So
truer words.
So then she's trying to get up. She's putting her hand in glass. Like this team, Kyle and Jalen is not doing very well right now.
No, embarrassing.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating to watch. And then like Kyle's like, I want to swim, which I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea.
He's like, we have to try.
He's like, and she's like, you can't do. You got a broken leg, and they pan down to his leg. It's all just mangled.
Because I was like, how is he standing right next to her? And he's on one foot. He's balancing on one foot on a fucking raft in a monsoon right now. What athleticism?
Yeah. And she's like, I can't do it. And his leg's all busted up, whatever. And we get some more outside point of view shots, like the shore and the water. CG water looks not good at all. Like
they're just like screaming at the shore. They're like, help.
No one, do you know how sound works? And you're what? No one can hear you. Like,
are you familiar with the storm that's happening around you?
It's like this movie, they waste so much energy doing the stupidest things. It's like, these are logical things. Stop wasting your energy doing this. Figure out what you need to do right now. Jesus.
And then like,
oh, so good.
Kyle just kind of like pushes her into the ocean, like accidentally, but like it's dumb.
Well, so like, she's about to like get the courage to jump into the water and try swimming, right? And then they hit a rock and she almost falls in, and he grabs her, right? And he's holding on to her. And then he looks up and he's like, there's another rock, like the hut is moving towards another bigger rock. And he's like, oh my God, right? And he's like, hey babe, don't worry about it. You trust me? And she's like, what? And he's like, see ya. He's just like, see ya.
She like yeets her out of the cabin into the ocean, and you're like, wait, what? This is a monsoon.
He just drops her. And it's this shot from the trailer, and she just like goes underneath the hut and comes out the other side, right?
Yep.
Oh my God, it's hilarious. And I was like, this woman has like water trauma. Like she has like water trauma.
Yeah.
And he's just like, see you, babe.
Yeah. Smell ya.
Yeah. Maybe getting a hut that's on water is probably a bad idea for someone who has water trauma.
Right. Recent PTSD involves water. So
you know what? You get a place up in Montana in the mountains, probably much cheaper too, by the way.
Yeah, way cheaper. Oh my God.
Anywhere.
So dumb.
Oh my God. So he's an idiot too.
Yeah.
So then we get shot from the trailer. She pops up on the other side, right? And then
more
she's
screaming.
Like, more screaming. She's like, Kyle, right? And then she turns and the hut is behind her, and she's like, it's like stuck against this big rock, right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden we just cut to her climbing aboard. I was like, wait, what? She just swam to the
Kyle tries to pull her up, which proves to be difficult with one leg.
Yeah. Right.
And like, so she's going to get mashed on the rock, and it's like, I don't know. But like, yeah, she eventually does get into the thing, and they don't even do anything about it anymore. Like, then they're just like trapped on the rocks. Like, well, at least we're trapped on the rocks now. I'm like,
well, right? No, actually, hold on. Cause like, she gets on the hut by herself because there's like the first jump scare here.
You're right. Yeah.
So she actually gets in the hut by herself, right? And then she's like walking through, she's like, Kyle, and he's hiding underneath the sheet, and he reaches his hand out and they do a jump scare. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, he's conscious. Like, why wouldn't he say anything?
Yeah. And then he's like, don't look at it. Don't look at my wound. You're like,
don't look at me. I'm hideous.
Yeah.
His leg is all sorts banged up. So
like, what do we do? I guess we'll just wait it out on the rocks.
Yeah. They'll come for us, right? You know, and like, we have to stay put. They'll see us in the morning, right?
This is our first conflict between the two of them, when she's like, I'm going to go do a signal. And he's like, no. You saw how risky it was when I cut my foot on the rocks earlier.
Don't be so stupid. You're being crazy. You know, like all
get me a towel.
Yeah. All the things an asshole says to someone else, like, you're being crazy. Stop it. Your ideas are dumb.
Up.
So they bandage up his leg, right? And then it ends with him. They finally sit down, and he's like, I'm getting a discount in this room.
Cannot wait until Kyle dies. I hate him so much.
Oh my goodness. And that's where we're at. The storm has kicked in. We're full on storming right now.
Yeah. Fade to black.
And we're going to fade to black on this episode too. So that's the end of part 1.
That's right.
Thanks for listening, everyone. I mean, I don't know. Do we have any questions? Are they going to survive? We know. We don't. Yeah.
We spoiled it a bunch already.
Yeah. So there's no questions that we could possibly answer. Are the sharks going to win?
I was going to say, are there going to be sharks? Are they? We haven't gotten to the sharks yet.
Are there sharks? Are there going to be sharks? Maybe. We'll see. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's in part 1. So thanks for listening. Back we'll be back Thursday with part 2. In the meantime, you can follow us on Instagram at It's This Meets That, Twitter, sure.
Yeah, YouTube.
You can go there at It's This Meets That. We're on there. Subscribe wherever you're listening. If you got a friend who you think might enjoy this ridiculousness, share it with them.
And share it with people you don't know by leaving us a review. You can write a review of us, something nice or something mean, whatever you want, but 5 stars on Apple, Spotify, wherever you can review stuff. You can also buy t-shirts now. We talked about it in the trailer trash.
Merch.
Yeah. So when I tell you where to go for the website in a minute, click on the merch link, or you can go to tpublic.com and search for It's This Meets That. Those will come up. Send us an email about it. Maybe tell us about the t-shirts. What's your favorite one? It's thismeetsthat@gmail.com. We'll read about it in Trailer Trash because we're going to promote t-shirts again. And then, like I just said, go to the website, find all that information and the t-shirts. It's thismeetsthat.com. What a synergy.